New details tonight on the shooting shock inside this Elkhart Martin's. Two officers wounded.
All units, officer down. All units be en route to 575 Simpson Boulevard.
Three people, including the gunman, dead.
Thoughts and prayers are with the people affected. It's a sad day in Elkhart.
WSBT 22 with live team coverage tonight of this officer-involved shooting.
First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 11 with John Paul and Juliana Ferfari.
And we are out of the gate here at 11 with that breaking news at Elkhart tonight. New details about the officer-involved shooting near Martin's Supermarket on East Jackson Boulevard. Elkhart police tell us right now the two officers wounded are in stable condition. Three people, including the suspected gunman, are dead. We have crews live at Elkhart outside the Martins where that shooting happened, and in South Bend at Memorial Hospital where the officers are being treated for their injuries. Our live team coverage begins tonight with WSBT 22's Nick Outhoff. Nick, you've been on the scene for hours now. What have you learned?
Yeah, JP, Indiana State Police are assisting in this case tonight with providing crime scene investigators to help along with the homicide unit. We are also working to learn more about the victims that were killed tonight, along with the name of the suspect involved in the shooting. So we can tell you that this happened around 5:30 this evening at the Martin Supermarket in Elkhart on Jackson Boulevard. Police say on-duty officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect. The alleged suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. Two other victims were also pronounced dead. Two officers were injured and transported to the hospital. You can see earlier tonight this was much more of an active scene. Things have calmed down now, and police say there is no threat to the public. Police are calling this a tragic evening.
It's a sad day in Elkhart. We have a situation that occurred at the Martins on, on Junior Achievement Drive. There was a shooting situation inside the Martins. Two individuals were pronounced deceased inside. We have a suspect that was believed to be the suspect in this incident. He is also deceased.
Now, we just learned that residents of the River Point West apartments can go through their gym to get into their apartment. You just need to talk to an officer and they can escort you into your apartment. Along with that, if you have any information, you are supposed to call the Elkhart Homicide Unit along with Elkhart Police Department as well. In Elkhart, I'm Nick Outhoff, WSBT 22 News.
All right, Nick, the community reacting tonight to that shooting. We continue our live team coverage with WSBT 22 anchor Juliana Ferfari outside Memorial Hospital in South Bend where those officers are being treated tonight. And Juliana, the officers started gathering outside the hospital about an hour after that shooting took place.
JP, as you can see, it is quiet here at this hour, but that was not the case just a few hours ago as officers from multiple departments came out to show their support. I want to show you what it looked like around 6:15 this evening. At least 14 squad cars were here around the hospital as they waited for updates on the two officers that were injured. Officers that arrived here to check in included officers from Elkhart, South Bend, and Middlebury. Tonight, we know that the two officers are in stable condition. We also know that the hospital was placed on a lockdown from just before 6 o'clock to 7:45. I had a chance to speak with the captain of Trauma Center Police here at the hospital, who explained that the lockdown is for crowd control and traffic management. The community also reacting tonight. The South Bend, Goshen, and St. Joseph County Police Departments all showing their support for the officers and the Elkhart community on social media. Saying, quote, as details emerge about the shooting in Elkhart, we are in communication with state and local law enforcement. Maureen and I are praying for the victims and their families. Congressman Rudy Yakum also posting on social media tonight saying that he has been in contact with officials in Elkhart and he will provide any assistance that he can. We're here at Memorial Hospital and we will have updates throughout the show. Reporting live in South Bend, Juliana Ferfari, WSBT 22 News.
Juliana, thank you. Tonight's deadly shooting happening almost exactly 11 years after a deadly shooting at a different Martin's Supermarket location in Elkhart. This shooting happening at the Bristol Street location at Cobblestone Crossing back in 2014. Two people inside the store, a shopper and a worker, killed. by a man who opened fire inside the store. Police told us the suspect was close to shooting another victim when officers used lethal force to stop him. The suspect then turned the gun on himself. That Martin shooting was about 4 miles northeast of where tonight's deadly shooting took place.
You're watching WSBT 22 News at 11.
All right, we are staying on top of that breaking news in Elkhart tonight, and we have new information just into the newsroom about that deadly officer-involved shooting. We're getting new details about the timeline of the shooting and an update on the officer's condition. Let's get right to anchor WSBT 22's Juliana Ferfari for the latest. You're at Memorial Hospital where those officers were taken just after those shots rang out.
And JP, we just learned brand new information about what happened at that Martin supermarket in Elkhart and the condition of those officers tonight. Now, the first thing we want to let you know about is that when officers arrived to the scene, they were directed inside of the supermarket. That is where they found 2 of those victims, which were both pronounced dead on the scene. The officers then went outside, and that's where they engaged with that suspect. We are told that is when the 2 Elkhart officers were shot and sustained gunshot wounds. It's also where the shooting suspect was nearby and was shot and killed. Now, we are told that the officers were both transported to the hospital tonight for evaluation and treatment. Just moments ago, learning that one of the officers was treated and released from the hospital. The second officer remains in the hospital in fair but stable condition. We will keep you updated on air and online as we continue to learn more. For now, reporting live at Memorial Hospital, Juliana Ferfari, WSBT 22 News.
Want to catch you up on the live team coverage of tonight's deadly shooting in Elkhart involving 2 police officers at a Martin supermarket. Right now, we want to get to WSBT 22's Nick Outhoff and Juliana Ferfari, who have new information about the shooting that unfolded earlier tonight. We're going to begin with Nick. Nick, what are you learning?
Yeah, JP, we just learned that police are telling us that moments ago, officers were called here at 5:30 this evening here at Martin's on Jackson Boulevard for a direct shooting involving 2 victims inside. Now we can tell you that police outside exchanged gunfire with the alleged suspect, shooting and killing him. 2 officers were also shot, but were also expected to survive. In fact, one has already been sent home from the hospital. There is still a lot of police tape up across the parking lot that extends to the nearby River Point West apartments. Police say those people who live there can still get home, but they have to go through the fitness center where the officers will escort them into their apartment. It's important to note that there is no longer a threat to the public, but police are still gathering evidence at this time. And just for additional information, if you know any information regarding the situation that happened here earlier this evening, you are advised to contact Elkhart Police Department or the Elkhart Homicide Unit. In Elkhart, I'm Nick Outhoff, WSBT 22 News.
Nick, thank you. Our team coverage continues now with WSBT 22 anchor Juliana Ferfari live for us outside Memorial Hospital where those officers injured were taken for treatment. Juliana, what have you learned?
In the last 15 minutes, we learned that one of those officers was treated and released from the hospital. The other officer remains in the hospital in fair but stable condition. Tonight, it's been all about the show of support from the community, both outside the hospital here at Memorial Hospital and also on social media. When our crew arrived on scene around 6:15 tonight, the entrance to the emergency room was blocked off and the 2 injured officers were inside. Outside, a show of support. Police officers from multiple departments gathered as they anxiously waited for updates. Throughout the evening, we have seen more officers coming and going inside the emergency room here. That show of support also going beyond Memorial Hospital property. We've seen multiple police departments post on social media tonight saying that they are supporting the Elkhart Police Department and they are thinking about the entire Elkhart community. We'll have updates on air and online as we continue to learn more. Reporting live in South Bend, Juliana Ferfari, WSBT 22 News.